afraid to retreat, caught in a lie, and I know why. You think you'll disappear, but have no fear. You're here to stay, and no one believes you today. Fake goat, trying to be a scapegoat, just another snake note. Always honest, usually right, not forthright. No one believes you today. Go along your way. Tangled in deceit, no way to retreat, caught in a lie, and I know why. You think you'll disappear, but have no fear. You're here to stay, and no one believes you today. Fake code, trying to be a scapegoat, just another snake note. Always honest, usually but not forthright. No one believes you today. Go along your way. Go along your way. Go along your way.
Saint-Germain in the membrane, insane is the end game. Cure sacrifices a goat, 7-month journey. Listen to me, try to believe, because I deceive. I deceive that it heals for those who can see. Saint-Germain in the membrane, insane is the end game. You are to blame when I created the game. Let's do that, Saint-Germain. Let's do that, Saint-Germain. Let's dance, pretend we're friends, and pretentious and contentious. Let's be sentimental. Let's be sentimental.
I wish that I could know why you decided to show, why you didn't just go, why you still call her Jane Doe. She was 13, not yet 16, not even a tween. Her friends said it would be funny if she met Epstein. He got a gig for the weekend, said she could bring a friend, said he needed someone who looked young, a blonde and a wig. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend, and her friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friends thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And they said they all met a nice man, and his name was Prince Andrew. And she thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she met a girl named Katie Johnson, and she looked just like me. And they thought it was harmless, so they went with their friend. And I thought it was harmless, so I went with my friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was.
All right. Welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no clown, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lulz, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lulz, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lulz, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Laughing loud, all for the lulz, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control. Spinning wild on the stripper pole, laughing loud all for the lows. But baby, that's not my rabbit hole.
All right. Welcome, everybody, and good morning. It is 8:13 on Tuesday morning. It blows me away that I even do anything at this hour. I've become a what do you call a morning person at the moment. My entire rhythm changed. I guess that's a good thing. I like mornings. They're quiet. You can just do things. And then I think, well, you know what? I'll just do a really quick show in the morning. I don't have to put a camera on. I can just play music and do whatever and kind of warm up to the day with YouTube with you guys. There is hi Raven. Good to see you today. Good to see you. Hi. Yeah. So this is about David Schurter today. He, for those who may not know, I don't know if Raven, I know Raven, you've been around more recently and I'm really excited. It's really good to see you back. That makes me smile to see you be in my chat again. And David Schurter is he wrote a book called Rabbit Hole, which is really ironic that I ended up naming this show Not My Rabbit Hole, not really thinking about him, not really knowing much about David Schurter. I think for me, David Schurter was somebody that Nathan Stoltman mentioned on Lift the Veil. You know, he make reference to David Schurter. I might have popped on a video really quick, but for some reason I could not stay with him to listen to him pass, I don't know, a couple minutes really. And I don't know, I always wonder what that is, what makes you tune in and listen to somebody and then not, hi Pavana, good morning. Well, I mean, it's later for you, but still it's, I think 11. I have for some reason also became a morning person recently. I've always hated mornings and morning people. Yeah, I know. One time I made a phone call to I don't know, I called up my best friend Beverly at like 10:30 in the morning, and I left a message at work. She had her own private phone, right? And she calls me back and she's like, oh my god, are you okay, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And she goes, it just worried me that you were calling me this early. And it was like, wow, 10:30, like it's just like so embarrassing to like think that but I worked at night, so and then if you work at night, you get home and then you're up until 2-3 o'clock because you can't wind down and go sleep yet. So plus, in the good old days when I was on tour with comedians, they would house us in an apartment that they call it a condo, but it's really an apartment. So you lived with the other comics for that duration. That was kind of part of the plot to Last Comic Standing, because we always had to house together. I mean, sometimes we had our own hotel room, or we were lucky enough to have the week to ourselves and where we were staying. But most of the time, you had to get along with the other act, which usually I did. I never really had a conflict. But we would stay up, really late at night, or watching movies, or talking, or smoking joints, and hanging out. And so, just when you work at night, you can't go to sleep. Okay, so I'm rambling on that. Anyway, let me get to where I was about David Schurter. So David Schurter, came out on the scene. He's a satanic ritual abuse survivor. He wrote a book called Rabbit Hole, and he recently, I guess, resurfaced in the last couple of years and decided to focus on Isaac Cappy and what happened to Isaac Cappy. And so he has, gone through a list of people that he is harassing. Ironically, it's the same list that Thomas Schellenberger and his group has been targeting and scapegoating. It's like one side goes, oh, these are the pedos and the bad people, and we get smeared. And mainly it's because of the fact that, we point out what they do. That's, I know that the only thing that I've done is like really just sit back and like analyze and show what they have been doing and how they've been doing and the pattern that they've been doing it. And so David Schroeder cropped up, and again, I want to point out that David Schroeder also was on Lift the Veil, and so it's this whole entire pocket, which kind of really became also somewhat the backbone of the Epstein stuff. See, so our media, or what this is, or what this has come out of, has really played part in a huge paradigm that's happening right now. There's a huge, I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it is just, people are just going nuts over what's going on. This inquiry, or realization, or coming to terms with the fact that there may be an elite group of people that do gross things, and one of those things is what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. And it goes, the rumors or the allegations go all the way to the monarchy. I don't care how anybody wants to break that down, but that is just absolutely huge. It's something that has never happened in the history of humans, really, that something of that nature would be so global. And it involves rumors of intelligence agencies like the Mossad, and just all kinds of stuff. Government, maybe the government's involved with it, maybe the president's guilty. It's just really like, if people were to look at America right now, I think we're like a teenager that's having issues. We've got some illnesses happening with our country. And personally, and I'm just giving my opinion, I think we really need to get it together and come together and deal with this. Otherwise, we're not going to be the most powerful country in the world, so we believe. Anyway. So enough for my opinion and what I say about that. But I'm really wanting to just show the magnitude of what this is. And, David Schroeder spends a lot of time on his channel, especially now, equating the Epstein trial to us. So, and this is a tactic that, all these guys do. Denise does it. They take something that is out in the public and really people are talking about, and normally it's negative. Anybody involved with it would be considered a bad person. And they use it to smear someone like me, or someone like Pavani, who's here in the chat, or, Sewertown, or DeFango now is in there. DeFango's gotten thrown in there. That's what, to me, like, throwing DeFango in there with everybody else is so trite and such a signature, I think, move of Sophia Music, whether, David Schroeder is aware of that or not. So here's the thing. Last night I was in Sewertown, and Gio came in and mentioned Sherilyn, and that David had posted about Sherilyn. And in his last video, now Sherilyn is so, for Raven, I want to let Raven know who Sherilyn is. Sherilyn is his moderator, and she was also accepting emails from let's say his audience, or maybe even people like us. I've never emailed David Schroeder because I know what he does with people's emails, but so she would accept, if you have a question for me, you can ask Sherilyn. And so when I read what is being said here, I want to set that up as the background, because like Sherilyn, there's mentions of emails and not being able to get access to emails in this dialogue. So yesterday, and I'm going to play the end of, matter of fact, let's play that before we get to the emails. At the very end of David's stream, he says this, and he says it throughout he talks about somebody breaking his heart. You broke my heart. You broke my heart. And I don't know, whenever somebody says that, you always, it always feels like it's somebody of the opposite sex. we know he's not in a relationship. And so I just like, even the first time he said it, I go, oh, wow, did something happen with Sherilyn? And I don't know why. I mean, okay, sometimes I just get intuitions about things. I had a feeling, like it came into my head that there was going to be a problem between him and Sherilyn, that something was going to go down. And it came in my mind like 2 or 3 times. Anyways, so here's what he says at the end of this video.
Had no idea the depth of my feelings until I realized. Had no idea. Really, really, really cared. Right in the fucking heart. So I'll return the favor.
I mean, to me, that is like, I mean, for him to stab himself like that, right? And then
Donald Trump went silent
right
today.
in the effing heart. I'm trying, to be good with my YouTube because I like at least I swear the better chance I can monetize my content. But the way he says that and then says expect it back, like he threatens her back, right? I mean, here, I always like to look at things more than once, but
oh my God.
He threatens her back. Let me get to that point again. It's like right around. Okay, yeah, it's right around here. Like, let's do it.
Had no idea the depth of my feelings until I realized. Had no idea. Really, really.
If you look at the look at his eyes, like he's angry at her, angry. Just wow.
Cared.
I really cared. He's shaking his head.
Right in the fucking heart.
Wow. Look at that. Look, and it's just ooh, like it's almost it is almost like a romantic relationship, although we know that didn't exist.
So I'll return the favor.
So he's vindictive. He's threatening her. He's threatening to do something to her because what she did to him is so bad. Like that's vengeance right there. And, that's why I want to point out about the nature of David Schroeder. That is what he does. That is what he does to people that fall out of favor with him. Don't do what he wants them to do. And he does that every day to people on his channel. Every time he comes on his channel, it's that vengeance. It's that vengeance of a punishment that none of us are guilty of. Like he says, the darkness is coming for you. Your day is coming. You're gonna get it. For what? If you're innocent, you shouldn't be getting anything. David, that's how it works. That's how it really works. If you're innocent, you don't have that karma coming to you because you're not guilty of it. What could happen, David? I guess maybe I'm talking to him. I see his face right there, right? I mean, what could happen to you is that your karma for what you're doing right now is coming back to you because that's how it works. I mean, like, I think most of us that congregate here, we do believe in a cause and an effect, in a karma and a justice and a right. We even have a court system set up to be as fair and justice as we can to convict somebody correctly within our society. But there's also the supernatural that happens. Like sometimes the court doesn't get it right. But there is something, maybe lightning strikes you or something. There's a God act. There's a God aspect of this. And, when you treat people like this, when you spread lies, when you break one of the 10 commandments daily on your channel, and then you pray to God and curse him at the same time and curse other people, where is that godly? Where is that going to? If you want to talk about it in terms of the ascension, How is that person ascending? How is that person 51% service to others, as David Wilcock would say? How is that a jump in humanity? It isn't. It isn't. This is scary to me. This is like a threat. I mean, this is something that if Sherilyn wanted to, she could actually send that to her police department. Or she could maybe even, if she wanted to get a restraining order on David, this would be a really great clip to send. Because that's a threat. Now, let's look at his blog. Stop that share. Yeah, daily. Hi, American Witchcraft. Daily. Yes. And then Pavana says, I'm wondering if Sherilyn left because of Jesse's recent email to her. You know what? Maybe that's true. Yeah. Or maybe it played a part in it. But what it looks like to me when I read the emails, and let's go through the emails, and then I'll like do some more. I'll answer some responses of the chat here in a bit too. So this is what gets me about it. All right. So now in these emails, let me put gonna be able to scroll here. I'm assuming that it's mostly Sherilyn talking to him is what I think. Now tell me what you guys think, okay? Because I read some of it last night, and I was like, wait a second. I mean, I guess I actually started reading it while I was watching Sewer Town. I pulled it up really quick and I said, what? Because the minute Gio mentioned it, I was like, what? He's got something about Sherilyn. So anyway, it's titled, I Can't Say How Sick of Their Games I Am. My YouTube lives will my YouTube lives will no longer be treated as their honeypot. Okay, so here's the first one. And I'm going to enlarge it here. Or I guess maybe I can't. All right, it says, it was you that told me to reach out to Smokey, that I really needed to reach out to Smokey. And then immediately after reaching out to Smokey, Thomas was on top of Smokey and knew all about Smokey. And you already knew about Smokey. There were red flags that I kept overlooking and ignoring, and heaven didn't want me to do that anymore. So I think this is David talking to her, all right? There were red flags that I kept overlooking and ignoring, and heaven didn't want me to do that anymore. And now you're going to lie and act like you're an effing victim in this mess. I've never gotten access to that email. So basically you turned me into a honeypot. People reach out, but they reach out to you, not me. And I don't see that. Okay. So this is what he's saying to her. Right. And so this is, I believe this is David, but it's weird. It's weird to me. So David Schurter to Sherilyn. So that's what the email says. It's weird to me that David's calling himself a honeypot. Because let me tell you, I see no honey in his pot at all. Okay. So, and then I think this might be Sherilyn. Because it feels different, and you don't see you can't tell what email is going to who. Okay, but here we go. I've never gotten access to that email, so basically you've turned me into a honeypot. No, it's still him. Sorry. People reach out, but they reach out to you, not to me. And I don't see the emails. And you've never offered to give me the credentials to get on there. And when I ask, I've done before, you gave me some bullshit excuse. And now that you just gave me a password that doesn't work, you really did think you were going to give me those THC cartridges, which you called felonies, and were going to shut me up with it. So he is saying, okay, maybe I should change the title to this stream, okay? Because when I first read it, I was tired last night. I was thinking that this was Sherilyn, because to me, Sherilyn would be the honeypot, not David. That's the main thing. I go, the honeypot would be her, right? Definitely not David. Definitely not David. So I got it backwards. So, but I'm glad I'm, of course I knew I was going to reread it today and I was going to go over it in real time. So, and make more sense out of it. So apparently, now this is what gets me. Let me just think about this for a minute. Why does Sherilyn have access to why would Sherilyn know where Smokey lives? That's my question on that one. Like, why does she know where Smokey lives? And why are these all of them are not there? I mean, they did go out to dinner. I remember David saying, like, he was asking for donations to take Sherilyn out to dinner. He wanted to take her to the steakhouse, but then they ended up going to dinner, and he said they went to a Mexican restaurant. I remember because I felt angry. I feel angry that David is talking shit about me and other people daily on his channel, and then asking for donations for him and his moderator, which, I don't really have anything against Sherilyn personally, but for me, I'm thinking here's another person that's helping him get this narrative out and supporting him in it. And he wants to take her out on, to dinner. So they went to a Mexican restaurant. I'm like, oh, nice of you to go out to dinner on it feels like it's like being punched in the face by somebody and then the other person punches you a little bit in the stomach and then they go, and now we got donations to go out to dinner. I mean, if you were to think about if you were to equate what they do psychologically and emotionally to what could happen to a physical punch, because it in a sense, I mean, what is that thing that goes around that everybody in this community is shared? What is it, psychological warfare because physical wounds heal, right? So apparently there's some and another thing too that gets me about David is that he's been sitting on his channel and going, I don't have money for pot. I can't smoke pot. And apparently it's illegal where he's at. Oh, that really sucks, David. I feel sorry for you in that aspect. But anyway, I digress. Okay, so you really did think you were going to give me those THC cartridges, which you called felonies, and we're going to shut me up with it. The issue is that I'm effing stupid, and honestly, I refuse to be paranoid with you, and so I just overlooked the shit. I'm not stupid, and you're effed, and I suggest you stop emailing me, because if I get one more email from you, I'm going to take the screenshots and publish everything. All it's going to take is one more. Wow. Gave me a password that doesn't work. You really did think you were going to give me those THC cartridges, which you called felonies, and were going to shut me up with it. The issue is that I'm not effing stupid. I honestly refuse to be paranoid with you, and so I just overlooked the shit. I'm not stupid, and you're effed, and I suggest you stop emailing me. If I get one more email from you, I'm going to take screenshots and publish everything. All it's going to take is one more mother effing email. Push me, bitch, and see what effing happens. Wow. Okay, so this in itself is a form of abuse online. If Sherilyn, if we get in touch with Sherilyn, or if Sherilyn wants to reach out to me about David, because Sherilyn, I'm going to tell this to Sherilyn. I'm innocent of what he's done and said. And so if you see what he's doing to you, then there's a problem here. That's his character. That's the character of the man that David Schurter is. And let me tell you something about how David Schurter doesn't like women. I had this argument with him. He thinks that we're spiritually beneath men. So he has zero respect for women. And he has sat there on his channel and lied and called me a whore and has said that I made a living on my back. So that is not a man of God that he claims to be. And, you know, if you think about it as a woman, and this is something that we live with politically, even the disrespect. I mean, it's getting better. I have to admit, it's definitely getting better. But, you know, to have a draconian, a Draco like David Schroeder abuse women publicly like this is also not acceptable. He's berating her publicly, and he isn't showing or allowing her response. He's not allowing anybody to like see her side of the story. She just simply fell out of favor. Didn't, you know, do what he wanted her to do, is what I'm guessing. And was his moderator, was really a supporter of his that no one had ever seen before. And now he's going to turn. I mean, he threatened her on his channel, and then he wrote this. He told her, it's coming back to you. He's attacking her. He's attacking her with malicious intent. And just because I feel like it, I'm going to play this. And he's going to be streaming in 20 minutes. So hopefully he's watching. Here we go. Love this. Oh, wait. Wait, let me go back. I don't have the screen share. I gotta put it on there. Here we go. Wait, here we go. Here we go. Woo! This is, I could play this over and over again. Wait. It's about right here. Okay.
That I am a lizard person. I tell you what, I don't need to read the stuff. I'll let you see my eyes right now. I don't need to watch this whole thing. They're calling me a shapeshifter. That's what these dumbasses are like. This is what they think. Don't listen to what I have to say about child trafficking because I'm a lizard person. That's their argument, you know? Oh my God. They're just as dumb as fuck.
Okay, anyway, he just really lost it over the lizard thing. I just and by the way, speaking of that, just because I feel like it, this video, okay, now make what you will out of it, but his eye does shapeshift into a slit, and I've always wanted to make one of those reptilian videos, right? I've always had like a fantasy of it, you know. It would be really cool to like do a reptilian video. And so, you know, Daniel Dowd provided it. And here's the deal about this video. It happened on Daniel Dowd's channel, right? and David was doing one of his satanic prayers basically, and Daniel Dowd is going, you're praying to Satan, and then like in the middle of it, he at the end of it he goes, wait, you're not gonna like, or something like, watch this, you're not gonna like this, David, or something like that. And then he takes his eyes and then blows it up, and then boom, there's like a freaking lizard eye. I swear it happened. Okay, it wasn't something that, oh, we altered it, or it's it just happened. All right. And so I clipped it. I'm like, man, I'm gonna clip this. And I created, like, on Suno.com, I created some background music to go with it. So the background music is from Suno.com. And so here it goes. Let's watch. Okay, so I don't know what, I mean, come on, make what you will out of it, but that did happen, and it doesn't surprise me that something like that would happen. And what's weird to me about it, just on a personal way, in a personal level, is that I had done that stream about Juliet Bryant and her claims that Epstein shapeshift into a lizard. And then there was, I was watching Sean Atwood yesterday, a little bit of a guest who claims to be Jeffrey Epstein's niece. But I actually looked on the internet to see if there was any corroborating evidence of that. And it's still out as not. There's nothing, it's not verified that she's actually his niece. I'm just going to point that out. But she said that they used drugs on women or whatever, MK Ultra women, whoever they were abusing, or took to Zorro Ranch, and they were chemically induced to think that they were lizards. That maybe. Well, she didn't say maybe. She was more like, this is what they do, and it had been done to me. And so it's not really that they're shape-shifting, it's just that they're tripping, and they don't know that they've been drugged. That was like one, so I don't know. So after I did that stream, and of course, even though I at first, when it came to the reptilian stuff, I believed it. Like, I was really naive back then when I first started doing, being in conspiracy world. And then I was dating somebody who I have a lot of respect for and is pretty prominent in the, I'll just leave it alone. But he's entertainment industry adjacent, said that he was from an Illuminati family, and that he was reptilian, and said that he's not the only one that I had slept with. And I was like, whoa, what am I, the whore for the reptilians? Like, and then I made a joke out of it. I go, reptilians, the other white meat. And I've actually incorporated that into my stand-up act. And people laugh at it, actually, because the topic of reptilians is now a mainstream topic. At the time when it first came out, it wasn't, right? And so, I was criticizing the circus surrounding the narratives of Jeffrey Epstein, in the sense that if you now, I think it's trying to be dismissed as a hoax, and I'm actually even seeing, broadcasts of the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell, if it's a hoax, then why is she in prison? Therefore, she might get pardoned or out or retrialed or whatever. And I'm just like, so when you have a story of somebody saying that he shapeshifts into a lizard, that falls into the paradigm of it being a hoax, which makes people in their mind think it's more of a hoax. So my argument was that that's happening. And, if you really thought it happened, is it really the best time to say something when you're just kind of trying to get people to believe or to find out the truth of something like that is even really real? Because that makes it not real. And but then, like, within like 24 hours, I think even the same day, I tune into Daniel's stream, and boom, David's eye shapeshifts into a slit. So then I'm going, wow, well, maybe it is true, I mean, maybe the my friend who I dated, I'm actually still friends with that person. That's why I'm kind of leery of, like saying that they told me that they were reptilian and they were from Illuminati family, because I'm afraid that people in the circle of those friends will know that who I'm talking about. And I don't mean to, demean him in any way, shape, or form, because he's a dear friend of mine, even though he's a reptile. Even though he says he's a reptile, he's a really good friend of mine. So that's why I go reptiles, the other white meat. But the last conversation I had with him in person was at the El Capitan restaurant, the El Cid. It was the El Cid. I actually went to go see Lee Camp, and he opened up for Lee Camp. And we were, they have an outdoor area where you can smoke. And I'm talking herb, okay? That's what's so cool about California, is they got places that are outdoors with a tree and everything, and a patio where you can go and partake, and nobody says anything about it. It's perfectly as normal as having a glass of wine. And so, we were sharing, I think it was a vape pen he had, and just kind of catching up with each other on where we were at in our lives and stuff. And he told me this. He said, it's the reptilian people who are like purebreds that are crazy and insane and need to be out of the picture. He said it was kind of like, he explained it as like a purebred dog. Sometimes if you breed it pure too many, it's got weaknesses, and that's kind of like how he explained that to me. And if it's true, that makes sense to me. Like okay, so if we have a part of our brain, right? Everybody has a part of their brain that is considered to be like reptilian, the flight or fight response, then I wonder if there isn't, throughout time, because like theoretically, just hear me out on this. Theoretically, when it comes to like anthropology, every species that's ever existed has a common ancestor. So if we are coming from like some sort of like, common ancestor, in adapting to our environment, etc., right? Then who's to say that there wouldn't be some sort of DNA that would be from a reptile basis in the human genome? I mean, we don't know all of our DNA sequences yet. We don't know the full picture of how we evolved to be humans. Why are we here? We don't know yet. That's almost like the basis of the UFO community, or even this media, or even a person. People want to know who they are, and we still don't really know yet. I just want to throw it out there. Anyway, if you listen to the Palladians, Barbara Melchek, isn't it? I've listened to that her book a couple times. That that actually the lizard, the Lizzies, as she said they like to call it, the Palladians. That the whole thing is about us, like humanity's going to realize that there are what do you call it, a being or a human or whatever that would maybe have those qualities. Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. It definitely did happen, right? It did. Oh my God. And then I gotta say, like, and I just want to share this one thing with you guys. when I saw that video for the first time, him whip off his glasses and go, "I'm not a lizard," I laughed so hard that I almost peed my pants. I was like, "Oh my God." And then and it wasn't just once, like even through every time he mentioned it in that video, it struck me so funny. It did. It really did. Okay. Raven, Pavana says, I have for some, oh yeah, it's old news to us. I think it always involves a non-human influence. I really feel, I don't know about you guys, but I really feel like an awareness of the spiritual battle behind this, or the spiritual aspect to it, and the esoteric. I mean, like, to deny that there aren't practitioners and there aren't certain things, and that I don't know. I mean, you have to. Anyway, I'll stop. Trying to give someone a guilt trip. It's the reptilian of him coming out. Energy always flows in a circle. That's interesting. I watch Woodward TV. I like that guy. I like his music, his opening song when it comes out and everything. I don't know if you're familiar with Woodward, but he was saying that there was these sheep that were going in a circle, and he talked about how a lot of it's spiritual practices, culturally, where people dance in a circle, that there's a circle energy. And it kind of tripped me out on his show yesterday, because he compared it to like when Jesus cast the demons into the pigs, and they went and they killed themselves in the water, and because they couldn't contain it, the pig was so innocent, it didn't even know, it just went crazy. And he was saying that like animals, or birds falling out of the sky, or frogs, which makes me think of the movie Magnolia by Paul Thomas Anderson, how at the climax of the film, the frogs fall out of the sky, which is like biblical, but I guess they do sometimes in certain areas. And he was kind of saying, what if those responses are some sort of possession of animals? I don't know, it's just a theory, but it kind of freaked me out. And that's why the sheep are going in a circle, like they're. So I don't know. I'm wondering if Sherilyn left because of Jesse's recent email to her. And you know what? Now that I realize that it wasn't because, like, you and I read this earlier, now that I realize that it wasn't because she was a mule, and I'm gonna go here pretty soon because David's gonna stream here, so we might as well watch him. Yeah, he does it daily. He's gonna do it here in a few minutes. Look at my eyes while I actively try not to shapeshift. Yeah, because like I did take some snapshots of his eyes, and if you like when he's going, I'm not a lizard, right? If you clip it in frames, you will see his eyes still kind of shapeshift. Like it's trying to do it. Like they're both pupils are not even when he's screaming. Yeah. And then I had it on my timeline for a while, and then I thought, oh, stop. I told myself, stop. This is just too much. You're going to look like I'm going to look too conspiratorial. I was taking it too far. Raymond says, I've got several people's eyes doing, especially actors. Yes. Yeah, it definitely happened. Doesn't mean they're bad for it. No, they are hybrids. They have to consume blood to keep their human form. It happens when they're emotional. David was possessed by child abusing demons. Well, that's again, and Pootie, you bring that in, like it's supernatural or it's demonic. You know, when somebody's eye goes on a slit like that. Okay, so David is gonna I don't want to stream him on my channel with because I don't know what he's gonna say. And before I go, does anybody have a different idea of what I should title this show? Because she wasn't a mule for him. I don't know if you get an idea while the credits are. I'm going to say goodbye, but and so thank you for being here with me in this exploration of the David Sherilyn breakup, and oh my God, that's a good one. Cis lovers and quilts. Oh yeah, cis lovers and quilts. Let me write. Wait, I'm gonna write that one down. I'm not a lizard. Let me see. David and Sherilyn, a life in cis and quilts. Yeah. I'm afraid if I do I'm a lizard, it might. I love that idea, but it might trigger the YouTube algorithm because they do stuff when you talk about lizards in the title. David and Sherilyn. I am a lizard prince. That's oh my God. I kind of like that one too. I might, you know what I might do is wait until I get my, yeah, I am a lizard prince. Celtic lizard shaman. I don't have scales. Awesome. Oh, I should put this. Well, I should have made my comics visible. I keep forgetting to do that. All right. Well, I'll see you next time, and we'll see what David does in just a few minutes. So, bye.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game, sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Caught in a rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole.